Good afternoon, children.
Good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon,
ma'am.
ma'am.
We have one more topic to finish the chapter, photosynthesis, the different factors affecting photosynthesis. So let us complete it today. Factors affecting photosynthesis. So there are different factors which affect photosynthesis. So there can be internal as well as external factors. So several factors affect photosynthesis. It can be either internal, the factors present within the plant, or some external factors. So let's see which are the different internal factors. So the different internal factors include the number, size, age, and orientation of leaves. Number, size, arrangement, or the orientation of leaves, mesophyll cells. So mesophyll cells, I already told you. What do you mean by mesophyll cells? The ground tissue of leaves of plants. And chloroplast, then the carbon dioxide concentration and the amount of chlorophyll. So these are some of the factors which will affect photosynthesis. So the number, size, age and orientation of leaves and the mesophyll cells and chloroplast present in it, then the concentration of carbon dioxide and the amount of chlorophyll present. All that can decide the rate of photosynthesis. Plant factors are dependent on the genetic predisposition and the growth of the plant. Okay, so plant factors, these plant factors depend upon their genetic arrangement. So those are genetically decided, and the growth of the plant. So the different plant factors will be dependent. The different factors we said, the plant factors means number, size, age, orientation of leaves, then what else we said? Mesophyll cells, chloroplast, then the carbon dioxide concentration within, amount of chlorophyll. These are the some of the plant factors. So all that can be decided by genetic predisposition. So already decided by the genes and by the growth of the plant. At the same time, there are different external factors that the different external factors means when you take the case of photosynthesis, there are mainly four factors like carbon dioxide, water, sunlight. Already chlorophyll we discussed. So main four factors needed are chlorophyll, light, carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide, water and sunlight are external, but chlorophyll is internal. So that is why we included it under internal factors. So temperature, so sunlight and temperature, those are related. The higher the amount of sunlight available, accordingly the temperature also will increase. Sunlight, temperature, carbon dioxide concentration and water are some of the factors, external factors that influence the rate of photosynthesis. So genetic predisposition, I told, genetic predisposition means a character, any genetic character influencing the phenotype. So you know that all the morphological features are also dependent on the genetic arrangement. So the genetic arrangement decides the phenotype. So the different plant factors we listed out, it depends upon the genetic arrangement and the growth of the plant. External factors also we discussed. Now let us learn about a very important law put forward by Blackman. Blackman's law of limiting factors, which he put forward in the year 1905. It can be asked for 1 or 2 marks. If a biochemical process, if a biochemical process is affected by more than one factor, its rate is determined by the factor which is nearest to its minimal value. It is the factor which directly affects the process if the quantity is changed. Suppose here, in case of photosynthesis, That is also a biochemical process affected by more than one factor, many factors: carbon dioxide, temperature, light, water. There are different factors deciding its rate. Okay, it is affected by many factors, but the rate will be determined by the factor. Out of all the factors I listed out, the factor which is lowest in amount, which is nearest to its minimal value. Maybe the other factors are plenty, but one factor is less. One factor is very less. So the rate will be decided by the factor which is present in a very less amount, or the factor which is present nearest to its minimal value. That will be the factor which will directly affect the process if its quantities change. So out of the different factors available, if one factor is found nearest to its minimal value, that will be the decisive element. If you alter the quantity of that, the rate of the process also can get altered. Example, a plant having green leaf, which means chlorophyll. Optimal light and carbon dioxide conditions may not carry out photosynthesis if temperature is very low. So here temperature is nearest to its minimal value. So whether plenty of chlorophyll, light, carbon dioxide, everything is available. Even you can include water also. So everything is in plenty, but still the plant won't be able to carry out photosynthesis if the temperature is very low. And all that, the fluctuation in rate now depends upon temperature. So if it is given optimum temperature, photosynthesis will take place. And if we reduce it from the optimal value, then it will not be able to carry out photosynthesis. I'll repeat it once again. Blackman's law of limiting factors. Biochemical process is affected by, children, one more thing. Whenever you state a law, you cannot write it in your own words. Law, you have to state as it is. Explanation, when you write, you can write it in your own words, but do state the law as it is given. If a biochemical process is affected by more than one factor, its rate will be determined by the factor nearest to its minimal value. It is a factor which directly affects the process if its quantity is changed. And they have clearly explained it in the example. So here the biochemical processes, photosynthesis, and affected by more than one factor: carbon dioxide, water, temperature, sunlight. So it is influenced by more than one factor. And when temperature is low, the factor which is nearest to its lowest value, then photosynthesis will not take place if the temperature is too low. Whether the plant is given plenty of water, sunlight, chlorophyll is rich, it's rich in chlorophyll, but still photosynthesis cannot take place because temperature becomes a limiting factor. There it is very less. But once you provide optimal conditions of temperature, they'll be able to proceed with photosynthesis. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, one by one, we will see the different again. Sometimes it gets automatically closed. Okay. Light. Now we'll see the first factor, light. Light saturation occurs at 10% of full sunlight. So when even 10% of the full sunlight falls on the leaf, it gets fully saturated. So they get enough sunlight to carry out photosynthesis. So rarely light becomes a limiting factor because there is no shortage of light normally, except in the plants found in shade. Plants which are growing in shade or in dense forest where enough light penetration doesn't happen. In such cases, light can be a limiting factor. Other than that, light is not rarely a limiting factor, because the plants, the leaves get saturated with light even at 10% of full sunlight. But at the same time, what you need to note is that too much light, or if the light intensity is too much, it can be harmful than being useful or beneficial for the plant. It's very clear from the figure. See, in the beginning, with increase in light, so lower on one axis I've shown light intensity, and on the other axis rate of photosynthesis. So in the beginning you will find, as we keep on increasing light, as we keep on increasing the light intensity, photosynthesis also will increase. But after reaching a certain level, no further increase is found. Even if the light intensity is increased, you won't find any increase in, see, light intensity keeping on increasing, but the rate of photosynthesis is not increasing further. So, and not only that, if the light is exceeding, or the excess light intensity of the high light intensities, it can be harmful to the plant, because it will break down chlorophyll. It can break down chlorophyll. Once the chlorophyll is damaged, photosynthesis cannot take place, because chlorophyll is very, very essential to carry out photosynthesis. You want to see it again? Light is rarely, it can be asked why light is rarely a limiting factor in photosynthesis, because plants get fully saturated with light even at 10% of full sunlight. But it can be a limiting factor, rarely, as in the case of plants growing in shade or dense forest where enough light penetration is not there, it can be a limiting factor. And in the beginning, as the light intensities increase, photosynthesis also increase. But if it goes beyond a level, it can be damaging. It can break down the chlorophyll, and once the chlorophyll is broken down, it will affect photosynthesis, and the photosynthetic rate will get reduced. Now, next is the carbon dioxide concentration. This is a major limiting factor in photosynthesis. So, it can be asked, which is out of the different factors affecting photosynthesis, which one is the major limiting factor? Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide concentration is very low in the atmosphere, 0.03 to 0.04%. And if it is increased up to 0.05, it can even increase the rate of photosynthesis, like carbon dioxide fixation. Means photosynthesis, the process by which carbon dioxide is fixed to form food or sugar. Increase in carbon dioxide fixation rates. But beyond that, it can be damaging. So same as we said in the case of light intensities, a similar graph is obtained here. So in the beginning, you will find, you can see that steep rise from A to B, but B to C, it is slowing down, and after C, it is steady. So that means it is a major limiting factor, and with increase in carbon dioxide, photosynthesis, the rate of photosynthesis also increases. But beyond that level, beyond 0.05, it can be damaging when this concentration of carbon dioxide is continued for a long period of time. At low light conditions, C3 and C4 plants do not respond to high carbon dioxide conditions. So even if a carbon dioxide concentration is high, if the light intensity is less, C3 and C4 plants will not respond. And at high light intensities with increase in concentration of carbon dioxide, they will show increased rate of photosynthesis. But that too, as I said, it can become damaging if the carbon dioxide concentration becomes very high, and such a condition is prevalent for a long period of time, it can be damaging. Other than that, to certain extent, with the increase, like when the light along with carbon dioxide concentration, light intensity, the incident light, the amount of light falling is also significant. So when the light is less, when the light intensity is very less, even at high carbon dioxide conditions, so you cannot expect, or no increase in photosynthesis is shown by C3 and C4 plants. But at high light intensities and with increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide, they exhibit high rate of photosynthesis. Now next is carbon dioxide concentration. Same point, same thing. Few more points are there. C4 plants show saturation at about 360 mu LL. C4 plants show saturation at about 360 mu LL. Children, that expansion of this, what is given in your textbook? Same way, no? Mu, small letter L or L. How it is written? Let me know.
Same
Ma'am,
here,
both
ma'am.
are there.
Same thing. Mu, small letter L, like this it is given. L, L.
Yes, ma'am.
This way itself. This way. Small
Yes, ma'am.
letter L, L. Expansion, I will tell you what each letter stands for. 360 mu L raised to -1 it is. Per liter. Mu L per liter. Mu L per liter. Okay, what does this small letter L stands for? I'll let you know. Microliter per liter. Okay, that is the symbol is mu, microliter per liter. Okay, once again I'll repeat. C4 plants, they show saturation at about 360 microliter per liter, because liter raised to -1, which means mu L divided by capital L. So when it comes on the top, you make it as L raised to -1. Okay. So 360 microliter per liter, and C3 plants, so C4 plants, they get saturated at about 360 mul per liter, whereas C3 plants, they can respond to better or increased concentration of carbon dioxide. They get saturated only at 450 mul per liter. Okay, so if you compare the saturation point of C3 and C4 plants in presence of carbon dioxide, if the concentration is 360 mu L per liter only, C4 plants show saturation. But C3 plants, they get saturated only at 450 mu L per liter at higher rates. So they respond to increased levels of carbon dioxide concentration. Thus, current availability of carbon dioxide levels can be limiting to C3 plants. So, the present level of present availability of carbon dioxide is limiting to C3 plants. And due to the response to higher carbon dioxide concentration, C3 plants, when compared to C4 plants, which plants are responding? C4 plants, they respond to higher carbon dioxide concentration, because they get fully saturated with carbon dioxide only at 450 mu per liter. So they absorb, or they get saturated, or they respond to higher carbon dioxide concentration. So naturally, they show better productivity, better carbon dioxide fixation takes place there, and they show increased photosynthesis. And this is used in the case of greenhouse crops. Examples: bell pepper, tomatoes. Bell pepper is the same as our capsicum. So bell pepper, tomatoes. Greenhouse crops means you might have seen these, some of the plants, they'll be grown in glass houses. And greenhouse effect, in greenhouse effect, what is happening? Earth appears, or atmosphere acts like a greenhouse, because the carbon dioxide released from the earth's surface, they will form a layer around the earth's surface. Because we are cutting down the plants, with increase in pollution, we are not we are not carrying out afforestation or reforestation. Trees are being cut down, and we are releasing plenty of carbon dioxide. If sufficient plants are there, they will absorb all these carbon dioxide and convert it into oxygen. But we clear of the forest and increase the rate of carbon dioxide released into the atmosphere by respiration. We can't help it, but other than that, the different smoke or by means of pollution, all these are released out into the atmosphere. So this carbon dioxide will form a layer around the earth, and the heat of the earth will not be able to escape out because of this layer of carbon dioxide. So earth will be like as if earth is covered herself or himself. How do you consider earth? Which gender you give, whatever it is. So as if it is covered with a blanket, and earth gets heated up. And when earth, that is temperature rises up. That is the reason why presently the temperatures are going high. Summer time and all temperature we can't even bear, because it is because of the greenhouse effect or global warming. And this is an after effect of our own activities. So we cut down trees and we release so much of these pollutants into the atmosphere, and as a result what happens, the heat from the earth cannot escape back into space because of this layer of carbon dioxide. As a result, earth gets heated up. This will result in the melting of polar ice caps, lead to flooding. So many natural disasters will arise. And why I said about greenhouse effect is, so in greenhouse, as I told, because of this carbon dioxide layer, the heat of the earth is retained within, it's not escaping out. And the greenhouse means it's a special structure where made of glass, where within that chambers or within that structures, heat will be retained, heat will be trapped. So even in winter season, even in very cold season, the plants growing within the greenhouses will get optimum temperature. So temperature will be retained even in winter season. So especially in cold regions, when such a glass house is maintained, plants can grow with proper optimum temperature. So in case of greenhouse crops like tomatoes and bell peppers, it is applicable because they respond to higher carbon dioxide concentration, and they show increased photosynthesis and higher productivity, and they are grown in carbon dioxide enriched atmosphere, leading to higher yields. So you know that, children, with increase in carbon dioxide, with increase in the levels of carbon dioxide, rate of photosynthesis increases. And I told you, only after beyond a particular limit, when continued for a long time, it can be damaging. Other than that, with increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide, rate of photosynthesis also increases. And if you compare C3 and C4 plants, C4 plants, C4 plants, they get saturated at about 360 mu L per liter, whereas C3 plants respond to increased concentration and they get saturated only at about 450. So this is applicable, or this is used in the case of greenhouse crops, and these are made to grow in carbon dioxide enriched atmosphere, and this will lead to better yields. Okay, once again, I will repeat. Carbon dioxide concentration, how it is influencing C3 and C4 plants. There is difference in the saturation point of C4 and C3 plants. C4 plants, they'll get saturated at about 360 μl per liter, whereas C3 plants, they will get saturated only at higher levels, 450 μl per liter. And due to the response to higher carbon dioxide concentration, since they get fully saturated only at high levels of carbon dioxide concentration, they show increased productivity and photosynthesis. And this fact can be used in the case of some greenhouse crops, where they will be grown in a medium having carbon dioxide enriched atmosphere, and this can lead to better productivity because they lead to, or because they respond to higher carbon dioxide concentration. With increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide, the productivity is also shown better. The last point is temperature and the dark reactions. Already we learned about light and dark reactions, and dark reaction, as you know about enzymes, we learned different enzymes playing an important role in the dark reactions we learned. These are enzymatic, and you know that if an enzyme has to work, they need an optimum temperature, optimum pH. So there are certain factors, only under these optimum condition enzymes can work properly. So definitely temperature plays a very important role in enzymatic reaction. If the temperature is too low, enzymes cannot function. And if the temperature is too high, the enzymes will get denatured. The dark reactions being enzymatic, they are temperature controlled. And in light reaction, the role of temperature is less. Mainly, it is a dark reaction which get affected by, which is influenced by temperature because it's under the control of enzymes. Several enzymes are involved in the second stage of photosynthesis, that is light reaction. So being influenced by enzymes, here temperature also play a very important role. You can say dark reactions are temperature control. The reason is so many enzymes are involved here. So enzymes need an optimum temperature to function. The C4 plants respond to higher temperatures and show higher rate of photosynthesis. So with respect to carbon dioxide, when we speak, so in terms of carbon dioxide, or by responding to high concentration of carbon dioxide and showing high rate of photosynthesis, that is C3 plants. But C4 plants, they respond to higher temperatures and they exhibit high rate of photosynthesis. So if you compare the productivity on the basis of the carbon dioxide concentration available, then C3 plants respond better and show better productivity. But in terms of temperature, if you see, it's the C4 plants which will respond to higher temperatures and increase and show better rate of photosynthesis. C3 plants, their temperature, they have a low temperature optimum. They function at a lower temperature. And when you say temperature optimum, the optimum temperature at which photosynthesis takes place, you cannot generalize the term. It depends on plants. You know, plants are found in different habitats. Depending upon where they are surviving, accordingly, they will have different optimum temperature. Tropical plants, their temperature, optimum temperature will be higher when you compare to temperate climates. So depending upon the climatic conditions, optimum temperature can be different. So we cannot generalize that this is the optimum temperature for all the plants. So depending upon the climatic conditions where they survive, accordingly, the optimum temperature essential for photosynthesis can fluctuate. And the last one is about water. You know, water is one of the important raw material to carry out photosynthesis, and not only a reactant, but at the same time, its effect as a factor is more through its effect on the plant rather than directly on photosynthesis. So you know that water acts as a reactant, one of the important reactant to carry out photosynthesis. In the absence of water, photosynthesis cannot take place. Along with carbon dioxide, water is also must for photosynthesis. So definitely it has got a role in photosynthesis. Apart from that, it influences the plant by its direct effect on the plant. The plant as such, it influences rather than just limiting its area of activity to photosynthesis. Water stress, if there is no sufficient water, when the plant is having scarcity of water, the plant is growing in waters with less amount of water. Sorry, if the plant is growing in a soil with less water, what will happen? It will be subjected to water stress, and when water is scarce, it has its own mechanism to conserve the water present. So what will happen? The stomata will get closed. So if the stomata is getting closed, what will happen? It is closing just to avoid the loss of water. But this is the only opening through where the gaseous exchange can take place. If carbon dioxide need to enter, this is the same opening. But to prevent or to reduce the water stress and to protect it from further water loss, when the stomata is getting closed, carbon dioxide also cannot enter. If carbon dioxide cannot enter, photosynthesis cannot take place. Water stress also wilts leaves, dries up the leaves. So if the leaves are wilting, it's curling and drying up, what will happen? The surface area will be only if it is exposed. If the leaf is exposed to the external atmosphere, only it can absorb light and carry out photosynthesis. But when there is water stress, the leaf starts wilting, it curls up, surface area reduces, and their metabolic activity also will reduce. So definitely water is an important factor influencing the light reaction of photosynthesis, but at the same time it will influence the plant as such. Rather than just limiting its role in photosynthesis, we need to know about its effect on the growth of the plant or the other functioning of the plant. So when water is scarce, when water is less, it has its own mechanism to conserve the water by closing the stomata. When stomata gets closed, carbon dioxide cannot enter. Definitely, it will affect the rate of photosynthesis. And at the same time, it can cause wilting of the leaf or drying up of the leaf, and dried leaves can even wither away. And then what happens? Surface area, if the leaves are curled up, if it is wilted, then the surface area will be reduced. And once the surface area is reduced, it's metabolic activity, because it is the area, larger the surface area, better will be the absorption of sunlight and photosynthesis. But because of this reason, surface area gets reduced, metabolic activity also gets reduced. A metabolic activity means even photosynthesis is an example for a metabolic activity. So the more the surface area, the better will be the rate of photosynthesis. And here, because of the curling up or wilting of the up of the leaves, wilting up of the leaves, metabolic activity, surface area, etc. will get reduced. Okay, children? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Which are the 4 factors, Nevin?
Factors affecting photosynthesis, right?
After hearing the whole Ramayana,
Like temperature,
temperature,
then carbon dioxide thing,
carbon dioxide concentration, 2 more.
water.
Water, main, photosynthesis.
I said light temperature.
Okay, light, temperature, water and carbon dioxide concentration. So we'll continue next class. It's already time. So factors affecting photosynthesis, just read and come next class. If you have any doubts, you may ask. Okay. So shall we wind up?